That's a little introduction into Talend. You should know the product where you are going to work day in, day out. They're located in Los Altos, California, and they also are present across the globe now. They're having a very rich client base. Big names like, you have Orange, you have Lufthansa. Recently I was reading that HP also started using them. Then you have Citibank. They have a very good rich number of client base in the last 2-3 years. And what products they have to offer, as I was saying, Talend Open Studio for data integration, Talend Open Studio for big data, and they also have the same software but in Enterprise Edition, which is a licensed product. In terms of features, in terms of look and feel, there is not a significant marginal difference, but in terms of project level usage or corporate level usage, there is. The vendors customer base for this product set is estimated to be more than 3,000 companies, but you would amaze to know that only in 2008 this download, the way we were downloading their software now, this download was close to over 1 million, and in 2012 this product totaled a 20 million download and over 3,500 clients. So imagine in 2012 if there was a 20 million download, you imagine in 2015 what would be the number. They are pretty popular in the market now, and they are emerging as one of the competitor and strong neck-to-neck competition to the proven technologies or the market leaders like Informatica, DataStage, Ab Initio. And because of their additional offering of this hot product of big data, they're really going with a killing speed in the market these days. All right, now you might be wondering, this software that we were downloading, it doesn't have any expiry date, and how does it work? Talend Open Studio is distributed under the Apache community, which is a open source community. Under that licensing, it was launched in October 2006 under Talend Open Studio, its previous name. All right. Now Talend's flagship product, which is Talend Open Studio, is the most open, innovative, and the powerful data integration solution in the market as of now today. And Talend Open Studio provides the advanced capabilities, as I was saying yesterday, that dramatically improve the productivity of data integration job design and proven scalability to ensure optimal execution. Now their offerings are very specific to market needs, and their job is in and around data integrity and management, which is obviously the sexiest job as per the future predictions. Now this is what is really making and really going to make the learning during this curriculum of 30 hours really rewarding for you. I mean, just out of curiosity, if you ever think of how's the job market in Talend or in big data area, just go and search few of the top class website, and then you come to know how the vendors are shifting their guns from the traditional proven big vendors to vendors like Talend. People are aware, and enterprises are very curious to use Talend now. The only challenge is they are not getting ready resource pool, because Talend is, first of all, once you know it, you will feel it easy, but it's not very easy tool to learn by its own, because there are so much twist and turn in the places. So once you know it, then you would feel like, oh my god, this is just a cakewalk. And then once you're there, then big data is again your cakewalk. So I'm pretty sure by the end of this curriculum, after the certification, after the project work, I'm pretty sure you guys will really do well. Yeah. Okay. Now as we discussed yesterday very quickly, why Talend? Obviously it's free. One of the primary reasons that you can install it, you can do your hands on any point of time you want from your personal computer. You can, trust me, we have developed product as I was explaining you yesterday, right guys? I was sharing one of my project level experience. We have also started developing applications using Talend Open Studio for data integration. It's free, it's open source software. Talend's open source products and open architecture, it creates a unmatched flexibility, so you can resolve the integration challenges your way. Now Talend reduces the learning curve and lowers the barrier to adoption for data integration, data profiling, big data, application integration, and more. Now another key area why? Because this zero footprint architecture dramatically simplifies the deployment, manageability, and maximizes the scalability. And now what they say, the vendor has to say, one of the popular and one of the leading brand in the market, they say, since customers can take full advantage of Hadoop's innate scalability and all of the vendor solutions targeted to deployment, management, monitoring, and system maintenance. So that's, I think we yesterday have discussed enough on justification for why Talend, and I believe you guys already on the same page as with me that why learning Talend makes a lot of sense, and that to Talend on big data is the most logical decision for anyone who would be dealing anything on the data world. And that's their core competencies, Talend's core competencies. They start their very basic foundation is the focus on the data integration. Then they start setting up their stone with top level data quality and master data management to manage the data governance. They set up these again building stones on top of their foundation to build the pyramid, build the success pyramid on which they're lying, and they are having a cherry on the ice, having the native Hadoop solutions with the other features of the Talend. So now, as we were discussing yesterday, data integration with a combination of big data makes it so appealing and irresistible, and so one of the most demanding technology in the market these days. That's one of my favorite slides. So they have everything on their plate, if you see, starting from data integration, data quality, master data management, enterprise service bus, business process management. Talend is at the center, and they have most of the technology revolving around the centralized. But the center, let me tell you, I always keep on telling this to you guys, and let me tell you that if you learn Talend for data integration very seriously, you would excel in all of the other areas, be it Talend for big data, be it Talend for data quality, Talend for master data management. It really doesn't matter. Alright, so okay, now coming back and touch upon a little bit on the installation side. As I was saying, the prerequisite is, in terms of the installation side, you need at least 3 GB of RAM, but the recommended is 4 GB. Okay, and minimum disk space to store all your job, get your execution, etc., etc. You need at least 3 GB plus. So I believe these are the minimum requirement that you anyways will be meeting. They are not on a very higher side. You need, of course, the Java JRE JDK on your machine. That is one of the primary requirement to make Talend Open Studio for data integration up and running, because as per the architecture is concerned, Talend Open Studio is based on a Java-based, Eclipse-based platform. Now, environment variable configuration, if that doesn't happen with the automatic setup of the Java path, then you need to ensure, if you go to your start, you guys can do this as we are going through this slide. I'll guide you so that you know that bottle area things have already been set up. Those who have already downloaded, please go to your command prompt. Please go to your command mode on your Windows. Type on the start, type CMD and you get your command mode. Then just type Java space hyphen version and quickly let me know on the chat window or the questions window what versions you guys are getting. Then this is the prerequisite is in terms of the compatible web browser. This is a it's not hard and fast, it has to be there, but these are the standard recommendation by the Talend. So obviously it is better we adhere them. The compatible web browser are Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, and the compatible database are MySQL. As in the instruction sheet also I have asked you to download the MySQL Community Edition 5.5. Towards the end of this class also, I'll just give you a very quick demo of 1 or 2 minutes. How do you download and how do you install? I mean, there's nothing. You just need to go, okay, next, that's it. Now, in terms of operating system, Microsoft Windows 7, whether it is 32-bit, 64-bit, they say that 64-bit, they have certified that the Oracle Java 6, which is 1.7 or 1.6 JRE JDK, is supported. So it is better we follow the recommended practice, and this is how you download and install. Okay, get the archive file from the download section of the Talend website. Once the download is complete, if there is no it depends, actually 5.3 the versions which were coming 5.4 and before, they used to have archive files. We have to unzip it, unarchive it, and then we have to execute it. But these days what they are doing, they are giving all the exe file. They are only giving one exe file. So the moment when you will double click this exe file, any one of you who have already managed to download, just go to your Talend Open Studio Data Integration 5.6 exe file which you just downloaded and double click on your machines. So you will see that the download has started and it will prompt you that where you want to set your software. Just set it in C drive under a folder, name a folder called Talend. That's it. Next, and you don't need to do anything else, and there will be a progress bar which will go on for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so you guys can start doing that. Okay, and if there is any issue, then we will come back to this slide. Okay, because these a few of the things that I have experimented out of my experience, and I have seen that if those are the issues, then we come back and we fix up this. Okay, I'll quickly show you what I was talking about, and someone is having some question. So we can download, we can also use Oracle 11 database. Yes, Manish, yes. If you can manage to make Oracle 11 database and any client tool like Toad or SQL Developer up and running in your machine, then no harm, no issues. So anything either or MySQL or Oracle, but just so that we all would be in same page, I would recommend to use MySQL because anyways it's very easy to use. First of all, it's free, MySQL Workbench. But if you still have Oracle, no issues. But I would not recommend anyone to go beyond these two databases because MySQL Oracle is widely accepted and used, and most of the people are because we also need to respect the tone and the pitch of the class. So I would not recommend any other database apart from MySQL and Oracle for our hands-on. So as of now in their website, they are having 5.5 and 5.6 Community Edition. So if you can download 5.6 also, no issues. That's fine. See here, Java space hyphen version. If you see in my machine, it comes as 1.7. So I'd recommend all of you If someone is already showing 1.8, then the moment you execute the Talend Open Studio for data integration, then after that your version will automatically, I believe, get downgraded. In case your version will not downgrade from 1.8 to 1.7 automatically, then still we can go to Oracle website and we can download the Java JRE JDK 1.7. So no problem. Once you do this command, then what we are going to do, where you go and verify that everything is perfectly fine, there is an environmental variable, as I was saying. You need to go, you need to check, right click on your start, and then go right click on your my computer properties, go to advanced system settings, go to environmental variables, and then check whether your Java home has been set to your JRE 7 and bin folder or not. In case that is not there, go to a variable called path, and ideally your path should have extension to your Java JRE JDK. When you install and your Java gets executed, automatically the path comes here, right? So, and most importantly, you need to have admin privileges on your machine to have this tested, and if it is not there, to have it changed. So if you guys are working on some machines where you do not have admin privileges, you need your admin to set up this path on behalf of you, if it is not already set. Okay? Yeah. Now for Vishal, since you are having issues, or anyone who is having Java JRE JDK 1.8, for those people, we will just quickly go into the Talend folder and 5.6. Alright, 5.6. I believe you can see the Java somewhere, JRE JDK. I think I have it somewhere, but what you can do, I think then if we want that, you can simply go to Google, Java 1.7 download. As I said, you will get redirected to the Oracle website. Open up. This is for all the people who are still having issues. Yeah, so that gets executed. But otherwise, what you can do is you can overwrite the version. And Suman, after you do that, can you do a command line? Can you test your Java -version? What version are you getting? And what I'm showing on the screen is for all the people who are having this 1.8 issue, and if you want to use 1.7, still it shows 1.8. Okay, so you are just trying to refer to that batch file, but I would not recommend that kind of approach, Suman. I understand. Yeah, you can skip the Talend Forge window. Yes, Isaac, you can skip it. Not required. Now, as soon as, I think this one also I have already explained, this particular window. How do we set up a project? Okay, need to create a connection before logging into Talend Open Studio DIDQ but here we do not have, because it's open source edition. For enterprise, you need to have a user ID and password. Now, as soon as you get this window, this particular window here, okay, you need to click on the create. Okay, create the new project. You have already created the project name training_Edureka. And then once you have that project created, you get this pop-up window, and then you need to select that project and you need to open. Okay, makes sense? So until there, we all have been there. Now this is typically, now we'll spend few minutes on this window and I'll explain you what is what. Now, if you want, you guys can take a note, okay? Because this is primarily a single window architecture kind of software or kind of tool. Okay. For another 5-10 minutes, I'm not going to look at the question answer window. Okay. So you have to excuse me on that because I'm going to explain you this. I will use a pen. Okay, I'll use a spotlight. What you see on your left, where I've highlighted it in pink color, and this is basically called your a repository or project window. Alright, this is a repository and project window. I had taken up this screenshot when I was working on Talend data integration for 5.3, so don't get confused. We are using 5.6, that's alright. So what you see under here is repository, right? And what you see here is local. Then what you see is the project which we had just created. Now how it works? Let me explain it from the project point of view. You guys would have by now understood that as soon as we need to access the actual Talend software, we need to have some kind of project in place, right? Now imagine project is a top level umbrella, okay, and any jobs or any modules or anything that we create within Talend has to be part of under some project. So project is, as far as any module within Talend is concerned, project is the top level hierarchy. Okay. Now under project you get most of the thing done, and within project we get multiple jobs, which is here, and this is a open studio version, so our connection is local. So what we have installed is, hang on. So what we have installed is actually is a standalone machine installation. So what, say for example, Isaac is doing, Suman would not be able to see. So for example, what Vishal is doing, Manish should not be able to see. What Dipayan is doing, Raja would not be able to see, right? So that is how this independent installation works. Imagine if it would have been an enterprise edition, which is a licensed one, then whatever all the people who report to the same project or who have been given the or who have been assigned the privileges under the same project, then the only difference between enterprise and open studio is all the jobs that all the developers develop under the same project, everyone has access to each other's job, and anything that developer 1 saves, developer 2 can see, developer 3 commits, developer 1 can see, and vice versa, right? So that is one of the difference between enterprise and open studio. Enterprise comes along with a SVN repository where you can do check-in and check-out, like we typically save the job, and the other developers also have access who is under the same project. But in a standalone machine installation, which we have downloaded for our hands-on, everything is my local. So that is the reason the connection is local here. But when you will actually work on the projects or for the clients, if they are using the enterprise edition, then you will see that this connection is actually a remote. Instead of local, it will be remote. Alright. Now, what project we have created, that will appear under that particular connection, under the repository. Now what is a repository? A repository is nothing but anything and everything that we do and we create here that gets saved under the repository. So imagine repository is nothing but a backend table or backend database where most of the thing that we do here gets recorded, so that later it can be used or it can be retrieved, it can be run. So repository is like a central hub where everything gets captured and gets reported. That is basically a architecture in which most of the ETL tool in the industry works, and Talend is not an exception. Alright, so now you understood what is a project. Project is at a top level, what do you call, hierarchy within the Open Studio, or most of the thing what we do in the data integration or in the big data has to link to some kind of project. Now what is a workspace? Workspace is an area, a dedicated area under the Talend Open Studio installation, where whenever you create a new project, most of the project data gets saved under workspace folder. It's like a dedicated path where most of our entities get saved. If you create n number of projects also, all this project will be falling under workspace. Say for example, I'll just show you quickly the folder that I'm having. If you see my installation, which is in my C drive, Talend, and then I created a folder called Talend Open Studio 5.6, and then Talend Open Studio, it has automatically it has created this folder because the executable folder has the same name. And now if you see one folder called workspace, I think by now you guys already have, whoever has downloaded and installed, you guys already have workspace folder. If I go to my workspace folder, I can see all my projects which I had created. This project, this project, this project, I have training Edureka folder project, and if I go and check most of it, then I get all the metadata of the jobs or metadata of the project. So as of now, this should be good enough to understand how the project works, how the workspace works. Alright, and what you see on your left window, as I say, is all the navigation and control that gives for creation. So the very first thing that you see is called business model. Okay, what does business model do? It's almost similar to, just to give you a look and feel, it is almost similar to the kind of thing that Visio does or Microsoft PowerPoint does. It's like graphically representing something so that which you can include in your high-level design document during your ETL job design, or low-level design document, or you want to represent it to your higher management or to your reporting manager or to the business engagement manager. They don't need to know the technicalities of the job in this form, in this format, right? They do not need to know. I'll take up the questions, guys. You keep on popping up your question while I was explaining. Okay. So what I was saying, your business side doesn't need to know what happens within the job. They are more interested to know at high level what actually, how things have been designed. Okay, so that is where the business model come into picture. You can drag and drop, but it's actually not a job. It's just a representation. It doesn't run. It's just a representation, graphical representation. We normally don't spend too much time on business model because we actually develop the job under the job design. So business model has been given for that purpose. Now the real fun that we do, the real excitement is under job design. Okay. Now job design, we actually build the job and we can create different folders. Say for example, under one project or the project in which you are working, it has different area. Say for example, there is a pricing area, there is a revenue model area, there is a billing area. So different area need to develop different jobs. So what we do is we create different folder, and under this folder we develop the jobs. Okay, so under job design only we spend most of the time creating the talent jobs. Then what you see on your left is called context. Context we will cover in module 6. Context is nothing but how do we parameterize. Context is for parameterization. Parameterization in the sense we assign some high-level variables or high-level parameters rather than hard-coding any values within Talend. It's a very important area, very exciting area. That is the area which makes the migration of the code from development to the production also very easy, smoothly, and anything can be parameterized under context. After context, what you see is code. Under code, even though we don't recommend too much, but still, if there are scenarios where you cannot fulfill your requirement using the Talend transformation or the component, then Talend also gives advanced features like creating the code and developing the routines. Routines are nothing but reusable piece of Java coding. So if anything which you are not able to achieve using the data transformation or 800 plus connectors tool, then we can write reusable piece of small code and we can call these codes from our job. So for the time being, that understanding, that explanation should be good enough. Now under SQL template, we can call the SQL scripts. And under the metadata, it's a very important tab. Under metadata, we save most of the metadata which we create normally to read and write into different source and target system. Okay, metadata means data about data. Now for a time being, because there are no important topics on the left, only documentation, recycle bin, there's nothing, anything you delete within this repository comes to the recycle bin, so you have to clear out from the recycle bin, similar to like Windows. And remember guys, most of the Windows shortcut also works in Talend. It's a very easy to use tool. Okay, now I want to know if some of you are already having prior knowledge of metadata. What is it? What is the definition about data? About data is a layman's terminology, guys. We are all technical people. So what exactly defines the metadata? What is it? It's nothing but, metadata is nothing but from the database point of view, if we would try to imagine or try to understand what is metadata. From database point of view, if I want to store my data in a table without creating a table, can I store my data? No, right? I can't store my data. So this table creation is not metadata, but once I execute a create table statement, this physical skeletal structure of this table which got created, which says each and individual field level information, in the sense what is the data type, how many columns, what is the field length, all this information, in short, all the information which has to be in place in order to access or read a data, whether it is in terms of file, whether it is in terms of table, doesn't matter. So anything, any information which is required in order to read source data, it's nothing but that skeletal structure which complements the actual magnitude of the data. If I am having 5 fields coming in a source file, then I need a 5 field structure already ready, which is going to complement this incoming file. So indirectly, if my metadata doesn't match with my file, I cannot read this file. As simple as that. Okay, so most of you have got it. Most of you have understood what is a metadata. Now when we will do more exercise, we would come to know, you would get to know, you would understand more on the metadata. So we have covered what is a project, we have covered what is a workspace, we have covered what is a metadata, and now we will cover, I'm just covering all this as part of our healthy discussion, and then very shortly when we will do our hands-on today, we will get to know that all of these concepts in one plate. Okay. Now the next concept that come into picture, the next concept which comes into picture is we covered project, we have covered workspace, we have covered metadata. Now what is propagation? Before we go and see what is a propagation, can any of you have any prior knowledge of what is propagation? Any clues? Any guess? Remember guys, the more you answer, the better you score in a class, and that's how the class also becomes very interactive. Okay, Suman says passing on the information to downstream. Very nice attempt, Suman. You're almost there. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to try what is a propagation? Yeah, Yashoda says it is to propagate column details between stages. Very nice. Again, very close. Yashoda. Suman says similar to data type changes. Yeah. Your earlier answer is more close, Suman. Passing on information to downstream. These are, again guys, see these answers are all coming up from the class, which is very nice. Yashoda says it is to propagate the column details between stages. Anyone else? What is propagation? Similar to data type changes. That's it? Okay. Propagation is nothing but information syncing. Yeah, kind of. Yes, Suman. Yes, very nice. Thank you. Propagation, guys, is nothing but how does the information flow from one particular component or one particular place within a job to the other component or to the other area or other end of the job. Because if the information or the metadata or the information that is required from one component to the other component doesn't flow, it doesn't propagate from one area to the other, then establishing the data flow, establishing the metadata flow, or establishing the relation becomes very difficult. So it is nothing but flow of the information, flow of the metadata from one point to other. That is called propagation. This is a very important concept in Talend, and this is also one of the important feature which helps us connecting from one end to the other end and makes our job successful And this is also an area which will give us hard time if you don't understand the real concept of propagation. So we are all good. You understand the concept of propagation. Now what is next is linking. Linking is nothing but establishing a connection between one component to the other component. Okay, so that is what linking is nothing but. Linking helps us propagating the information from one point to other. If you see, if you go back to the slide before this, now what is linking here? Linking is nothing but the arrow that you see from the first component to the second component. This is a sample job, okay guys? The linking is nothing but what you see from the first component to the second component. This is called linking. Now, hang on. Now, what is propagation? Propagation is nothing but when the information is coming out from this particular transformation to this particular transformation. Propagation is nothing but how this information which is present over here, or most importantly the metadata which is present here, is getting propagated into the metadata which is required by the next component. That is called propagation. And physically connecting one component to the other is called linking. Okay, so this is a very basic core concept using which we can develop the job. Alright, clear? So far so good. Any questions guys before we start working out on our first job, and we will get most of our queries or most of our concerns addressed over there. Okay, I have a question from Suman. In enterprise software, does the repository is stored on all the users' machine or in a centralized one location? No, it doesn't get stored in all the machines. What happens in enterprise, Suman, it's like a typical client server architecture. The server will be lying somewhere, maybe on your client side, or maybe somewhere centralized on some machine, and then all the developers who work, they will be connecting using the client. Nothing but your standalone installation only, but you will link to that repository. So it's like from repository to the developers, it's like one-to-many relation. From the developers to the repository, it's like many-to-one. Yeah, that's clear? Is that clear? That is how the enterprise edition works. And anything that developer 1 works out, those changes gets captured within the repository. Yes, it's stored in a database. So the backend, when we install the enterprise, we either have to give any selection of any database to the repository. Either we can do it in MySQL or Oracle or any preferred database with the client. It basically captures all the events or what happens within the repository that is happening day to day in the Talend. Alright. So far any questions on, hello? So far any questions on what is a project, what is a workspace, what is a link, what is a propagation? Yeah, you're welcome. So, and quickly guys, I mean yesterday I just it just slipped out of my mind to ask you guys. I need if I can ask all of you to give a little on the chat window. I can see all of your questions. If I can get a very small expertise or the technical area you belong and what experience you have in these areas, very shortly, each and every one of you, so that when we proceed with our class, we know how how to pitch and tone each and every one of you, because I need to make sure that all of us are in sync. If some people already know some concept, I cannot just skip it, or if some people they don't know and I know the concept, I also cannot skip it. So I have to maintain a harmony in the class. So if I can get quick answers from all of you about your technical background, or if you are a fresher also, just write that you are starting up, that's fine. I just want to know a little bit of background. Yeah, thanks Manish. Yeah, Sachin, very nice. .NET, MS SQL, PLSQL, Manikandan, ESB, BPM, very nice Manikandan. You have many things to take away from this class already. Dipayan, BI assignments, very nice. ETL, data management, Suman, Isaac, DWH, BI, Informatica, very nice, very nice. Very good. Bipin, Hadoop, Informatica. Oh, very nice. We have a very complementary kind of audience here. Data stage, ETL, Yashoda, very nice. So all of you who have a little bit, or maybe on the data management, on the DI, or on the ETL, or on the BI side, you will always see that curiosity on your mind to compare and see how things work on this tool and how things work on the other technology or other tool. Can it do this? Is this doable in this tool? Can it take a challenge? So that is what is going to make this class very curious, very interesting, very learning. Data power, Manikandan, very nice. Vishal says 10 years in data warehousing, data conversion. Very good. So we have a very healthy kind of audience, very healthy audience who are from data management background. So I'm pretty sure you would be immensely impressed with the capabilities of this tool. We have people who know a little bit of big data. I'm pretty sure you would be immensely impressed with how easily, with the ease this tool handles the big data area. Perfectly fine. And thank you guys for writing it down for me. And I would also like to remind you that by the end of each class, when you end your go-to-meeting, you get a feedback. You get a survey, which is not even going to take 2 or 3 seconds of yours. So I would recommend you guys can fill that up, which makes our our feedback, and we improves day by day. If any area where we would be lacking, we'll definitely try to improve it. And if you can do that by the end of each modules daily, then I would really appreciate that. Now Lakshmikant says he's a fresher in this area. Very good, very good. So we are having a balanced audience here. Some they are experts in data management. Some they know a little bit of big data. Some are experts on ETL. Some are experts in business intelligence. So we are having a very, very interesting mix of audience over here. All right. So guys, what we'll do is we'll quickly take a 5 minutes break if that is what you want, or else we will just continue now for another 15 minutes and then we will take a break. It's up to you guys. Break please, break please. Oh my God, looks like we've been waiting for the break. All right. No, I understand 3 hours is a rigorous, and it is again, let me tell you guys, it is again going to be rigorous from today onwards, because today onwards very less theory, more hands-on. Okay, so now onwards, in fact from now, this moment itself onwards, it's all going to be less slide, and we are going to spend more and more quality time on the data integration in big data area window. And yes, before we take this 5 minutes break, can I? Yeah, installation complete. Very nice, Isaac. Very good. Good job. How about Vishal? Have you downloaded your 1.7? I hope you would have resolved your Java error by now. See guys, take the advantage. Yes, very nice, very good. So we have a full house of data integration now. We don't have any challenges. Now I would also urge you that after today's class, please utilize this week to download Talend for Big Data, Virtual Machine, Hortonworks, and MySQL 5.5 or 5.6 Community Edition. Because these things, they consume time, and I would recommend that we should utilize our classroom session for more hands-on and less clarification on the installation, because you guys are already experts. You have spent quality time on the IT side, so you know how things work. So I have anyways given the instructions. So in case any one of you would not be able to find any kind of software, I'm going to ask these guys to upload them into some FTP server, Edureka, and they are going to share the link with all of you, so that if you are not able to still get it, because everything is open source what we are going to use in our classroom, it's free of cost, you can download. But still, if some of you have issues finding out the software, then I'm going to request these guys, they're going to list down all the software in one place and you can download it from there.